welcoming you to a life of awareness. The Presence Project is excited for you to join us for today's podcast with your host, Paul Kersner.
Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Are You Being Present? My name is Paul Kersner. I want to welcome you to the present moment. It is my pleasure and honor to introduce today's guest, Shannon Horton. She is the owner of Happiness Matters. She's a happiness consultant, intuitive spiritual medium, and coach. She's someone that I've been working with for the past year. She's an amazing person. She's someone that I've referred many of my patients over to and will continue to do so. The question I presented to Shannon was, why is being present important? And what are some examples and tools that you use to stay present?
Being present is very, very, very important in being open and available to see opportunities that come throughout the day, because today is where we create our future. Today is where we're manifesting for tomorrow and the next day and the next day. When we are too much in our minds about the past or the future, we often miss opportunities that come our way, or we are unable to see opportunities, be inspired by opportunities to act on. So being present is very important in the sense of taking today to the fullest. Many people say, live life to the fullest. And to me, that it means being present. That means being present in your moment and taking a hold of opportunities and facing your fear, stepping outside of your comfort zone a little bit so that you can live on a little bit of level of risk to take your opportunities and create your life. Habits are how you spend your day habitually is how you create your life. And if your life isn't where you want it to be, one, we have to look at our habits. What are we doing every day? Are those things actually working towards our goals or against them? And then second, we have to look at our thoughts. Are our thoughts in alignment with those things that we want to create? Or are they in alignment with those things that we want to create? And if our thoughts and our habits, because the thoughts kind of promote the habits, if they're not in alignment, then we have to step back and say, okay, this is where I'm having the problem of achieving what I want to achieve through my thoughts and my habits, and I have to change this. And what are my fears? What can I do to face my fears a little bit each day? That is what is important, and that's why being present is important. Because we want to create our lives. We want to create the best life possible. And in order to do that, we have to be present in the moment, seize the opportunities that are in alignment for us, face our fears, and live on a little bit of risk and not worry so much about the uncertainty and the how, but just know your what. Your what every day. What do you want to achieve today for your future what that you want to create? And when your heart's in alignment with that what, the universe amazingly lines things up so perfectly for you to achieve the how. It gives you the how. An example is that I'm kind of a shy person at times, and networking is a very scary thing for me, because meeting new people and putting yourself out there to be vulnerable, to have the fear of being rejected or someone not like you or things not go your way. And so when I say, okay, I create my morning every morning. So I sit in my journal and say, today, this is what I'm going to do. So today I'm going to network. And sure enough, opportunities pop up the next day for me to network the following day. And I say, I am going. I don't care how much I am afraid. I am going. And this last time I did that, it led to a really huge opportunity for me. If I didn't seize the moment, if I was too far in the future that day, I wouldn't have really paid attention to that email of the event, and I wouldn't have taken a hold of it, or I would have let myself talk myself out of it because of my fear. So that's a perfect example of being present, seeing the opportunities before you, and then taking a hold of them and facing your fears and living on that uncertainty and risk. And I always have a little thing that for networking events, I say, okay, I'm going to stay at least a half hour. If it's not going well, I'll leave sooner, or I can leave after 30 minutes. I ended up staying over an hour at this event. I had so much fun and met so many really interesting people and phenomenal people and that led to this really great opportunity. So I just want to give you that perspective that sometimes our perspectives are not true, sometimes our thoughts are not true, and we have to step back and say, okay, and that's part of being present. Is this thought really true? It's being objective versus subjective. I have quite a few tools that I use every day to stay present. My top 2 favorites are breathing, doing breath work, pranayama, and then chanting. Those 2 things really help me to get out of my head and be in the present moment. Breath work, when you do pranayama or different pranayama sequences, they can be a little more complicated. You want to really pay attention to the inhale and exhale and what you're doing. And it calms the brain down. It calms your nervousness down. It will even help lift your mood and be more balanced and centered. And then I see things differently once I do that. Chanting's the same way. When I chant in Sanskrit mantra, the Sanskrit is designed to surpass the logical and subconscious mind. It's a vibrational language first, and it's designed to vibrationally attract the vibration you want to be in. So if you want to be in a very loving space, center space, you will chant one mantra. If you just want to clear the energy for great health, you would chant a health mantra. There's so many mantras. However, those mantras are very powerful, and they always work to get me back in the moment and really remember I'm always taken care of no matter what, and that life always works out for me. 2 other things that I do, I'm always creative. I'm here to create. I like to be creative. So sewing or coloring in my coloring book or painting, doing something creative, I'm really focused on that thing. I have to be focused. And it's amazing doing these creative outlets. I get epiphanies, the answers to my questions almost immediately. It's amazing what happens with that. I will, before I do a creative task, I will say, this is the question I would like to answer to. If you can, if I can get it while I'm doing this task, that'd be great. If not, but it always comes during that task. It's really, I can only say for creative types, people who are very here to create and they need that on a daily basis or at least a weekly basis, that would be one way of being present, a tool, and even a meditative mindfulness tool to be able to see and receive your answers, to see things clearly.
Thank you, Shannon, for taking the time to answer my questions and sharing some really important information with our audience. I want to take this moment to thank everyone who's listened to this podcast, everyone who's a member of the Are You Being Present Facebook group, and everyone who's visited the Are You Being Present website. If you'd like to reach Shannon, you can find her on Facebook. Her name is Shannon Horton, or you can visit her website, happinessmattersllc.com. Thank you for your time, and thank you for joining us in the present moment.
Thank you for listening to the Are You Being Present podcast, brought to you by the Presence Project. Remember, you have a choice. Choose to be present.